Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar today. My name is Tori Jaffa, and I am the Marketing and Events Officer at Connecting Up. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to say thank you to you all for coming again this week, as last week's session was unfortunately cut short, and we do apologise for any inconvenience that may have caused attendees. If there is a little bit of repetition from last week's webinar, please bear with us as we may have some newcomers on the line. Our webinar today is on how to raise more money and manage your supporters better with eTapestry and is presented by Sadia Ahmed from Blackboard. We'll have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar, so if you do have a question, please feel free to type it into the question box and we'll answer it at the end. I'll now hand it over to Sadia. All yours.
Thanks, Tor. Thank you, Tori, and good morning, everyone. Welcome once again. Like Tori mentioned, we had to cut the session last week a bit short, so I'll try and make the initial slides a bit quickly, so there's not much repetition. But to all the people who are new today, welcome, and look forward to sort of going through a couple of things together with you. So just to get started, a bit of introduction to myself. My name is Sadia, and I'm a Regional Business Development Manager at Blackboard Pacific. I've been in the IT and not-for-profit space for quite a few years now, and since my stint at Blackboard, I've worked with just over 100 not-for-profits across Australia and New Zealand. It's been a great experience, very humbling to see such amazing causes and working with such very, very passionate people. And at the same time, it's interesting to know that the challenges are very similar across the board. I've recently relocated to Singapore from Sydney, and even halfway across the world. It's funny that most NFTs and charities are in a similar boat, as far as their resources and challenges go. Yeah, today's presentation. It's all about how to sort of tackle some of these challenges and what CRM can help you do that. So let's get to know each other a little bit. We did it last week as well, and the results are quite funny. But let's see if there's any new attendees and if there's any changes this time around. So you see a polling option on your on the right hand side of your screen. So just raise your hand and say yes if you know what a CRM system is. Excellent, everyone knows, that's great. The second question is, if you use any CRMs currently, whether it's Excel, Access, Salesforce, Dominant. Yep. Okay, half and half. So there's a few people who don't. That's great. So raise your hand and say yes if you see and know where to find all the cool reports, acquisition rates, retention rates, etc. Just what we suspected. Yeah, most of them don't. And the last question is, raise your hand if you can actually relate to these images. %, yes. Yep. This goes back to, it goes back to show that, what we discussed in the start, everyone is in a very similar boat, as far as, a lot of red tape and admin tasks go. So we will talk about, how some of these issues can be addressed, by a CRM solution in today's session. So I'll explain to you, why it is important, and specifically something that is designed for not-for-profits and small charities can help you save a lot of time, money, and staff resources. And I would also like to introduce you to Blackboard and our eTapestry CRM. We've recently partnered up with Connecting Up, and really excited, about serving the charities in this space. So just to kick off, quite a few of you today aren't really familiar with what exactly is a CRM solution. In very short terms, CRM solution is any software that enables an organization to optimize its stakeholders' relations. A stakeholder could be any entity, your board members, your donors, volunteers, essentially any entity that you want to keep track of and leverage those relations to the best of their ability. And why exactly is that important? It's important because data for any NFP is probably one of the most important investments it can make. And a CRM will help you track data, all the data related to your constituents. What are their preferences? What sort of interactions you have with them? What sort of gifts were processed under their name? And ultimately, all of this information will give you a 360-degree view, which is key to building successful relationships. Your data will tell you what's working, what's not working. You can track ROI, expenditures, cost per donors. From an admin point of view, you can even create workflows and automate tasks, which in the long run, keep staff happy and engaged. We see time and time again that successful NFPs are data-driven, and it is something that should be very high on the list for any charity, small or big, that is looking to grow and take the next step on its journey. We can even expand this question to ask ourselves, why exactly is a fit-for-purpose CRM important? Throughout my roles at Dell previously and now backboard, I have seen, charities use a lot of generic CRM, the likes of Access, Microsoft, Salesforce. And don't get me wrong, these systems are great in their own right, and they've got a lot of good features that can help you with day-to-day activities. But ultimately, there comes a point, when you need more than just generic tools. Not-for-profits are very, specific reporting requirements. They have, unique stewardship, needs. And a generic CRM, because it's not designed for that purpose, can lack in tools as far as that goes. And if you try and go down the customization path, it can be very costly and time-intensive. So whether you're looking at, eTapestry or any other system, the recommendation always is, you should always go for something that is designed for what, the sector is, and, that fits the intended goal. So a fit-for-purpose CRM, can really help you raise more money and dollars, and retain your donors through a lot of ways. So looking at multi-channel fundraising in different tasks, starting with direct mail. So for example, with your direct mail, you can launch reactivation and retention campaigns. And targeting the right donor at the right time through the right medium is only possible through segmentation, which only a CRM can provide. Similarly, with your EDM, you can engage with your donors online. 1 in 4 people today in this world are on social media, so why wouldn't you have a social media presence? And a CRM, will help you capture some of that data back into your system. Similarly, mobile pages, over half people, half the people these days across ANZ, use a smartphone, and even make donations using that smartphone. It's very crucial and important, to have mobile-friendly online forms that can collect not just donations, but other information, whether it's the newsletter preferences, or their event registrations and whatnot. And things like your major gifts, your bequest funds, any activity that requires a high level of stewardship, multiple touch points, can really go a long way if you've got the right administration set up in the back end. And ultimately, a good CRM will give you the complete picture. There's no point in doing all these activities if you can't report on your successes and failures. And if you haven't got the reporting available, it'll be very, very difficult to plan and forecast for future. So good data in is good data out. If you're collecting all this information, you'd be able to do really, really good reporting on that. Looking at the other side of the coin, you could actually lose donors and dollars, by not following some of these protocols. So, having things like, incomplete addresses or limited email addresses, it can cost you, in return mail and lack of correspondence. If you're missing out on deadlines for important, requests or grants, that has its own repercussions. If someone has been giving you for 10 years and they changed address 3 years ago, they might come up as a duplicate in your system. And whereas in the real world they've been giving it for 10 years, but you can only give them credit for 3 years. So that sort of discrepancy can also cost you in the long run. Similarly, I was reading an interesting article the other day. Apparently, typing someone's name incorrectly in any type of correspondence actually reduces their net by 15%, which I thought was very interesting. But literally pays to keep track of all the contact details. So where exactly do we fit in this equation? We've talked a little about CRMs and some of the common challenges across the sector. So Blackboard, for those of you who don't know us, we have been around for the last 30 years. Blackboard originally started, but we have global presence pretty much all over the world now. And we work with charities and not-for-profits, 30,000 of them globally. And our solutions are aligned to the sector. They're created from ground up, keeping the needs of the NFP sectors in mind. And our customers raise over 100 billion annually using our products and services, just to give you an idea of the scale. And there are certain things, that set us apart, from other options in the market. If you're looking at, going up the CRM, people like, most organizations are one of our biggest strengths. We take a lot of pride in this fact. Our consultants come from the sector, they're ex-fundraisers, ex-marketing experts, and really share their knowledge with you as part of the onboarding process. The focus at Blackboard is all about ongoing support. So we don't just believe in giving you a piece of software. There's a lot of help and hand-holding available throughout the course of your partnership with us. We hold annual fundraising conferences. User groups are held a couple of times a year. You can get together with other users of the product, network, share ideas. And we love what we do. There's a team Blackboard that regularly takes part in volunteer activities, workplace giving programs. So the idea is to instill some of that culture internally as well. So there are a lot of other services that we offer on top of the CRM and database solutions. Just some of our customers, this is across Australia and New Zealand. So we work in all verticals, whether it's your healthcare, international relief, faith-based organizations. Our users come in all shapes and sizes. We work with startups, all the way up to big names like Oxfam, Salvation Army, Cancer Council, and whatnot. Just some stats we've collected over the years. So Blackboard customers on average raise 37% more money, they have 41% more time, and they report 46% more productivity. Specifically with eTapestry, which I'll show you today, charities report a 6% growth in their fundraising dollars in their first year, and they continue to grow the longer they use the system. Once again, there's no magical wand behind it. It's just a matter of having the right solution for your needs. Something that will help you execute your strategy and your goals, and the right partner to support you with that process. So eTapestry, which is the CRM that I'm going to show you today, is our cloud-based database CRM that's designed for small and growing charities. Anyone using Excel spreadsheets, or like an ad hoc generic CRM, and looking to take the next step in their growth and journey. So eTapestry is all about helping you tackle limited resources, whether it's time, staff, or money. It includes automated tools, all cloud-based, that put more hours back in your day. It's quite affordable. You don't have to spend tens and tens of thousands of dollars up front. You can start small, and as you grow, as you evolve, you can add extra functionality. And it's about maximizing a manpower. And ultimately, this is important because once you get rid of, all the bottlenecks and, all the admin stuff, it can really help you focus on your mission, which is, ultimately vital or day-to-day working for a charity. So what I'll do now is I'll quickly jump out of the PowerPoint. So we'll keep it, interactive. Hopefully there's, not too many slides. So I'll jump out of the PowerPoint and actually show you eTapestry in action, just to give you a sense of, what the product looks like, how it works, what sort of features are available, and then, you can make a call on, how relevant it is to you, from like support management, communication, and fundraising point of view. So let me jump out of my PowerPoint, click on my web browser. So this is eTapestry. It's completely cloud-based. So all you need is internet access and a web browser to use it. eTapestry will work on your smartphones, your iPad devices, and it's completely, on a Mac. So it is, platform agnostic. So just like how you would log on to your Facebook or your Gmail account, you just type in your login credentials, and off you go. Now you do get unlimited logins with eTapestry, so you can give access to as many people as you like, and you can also customize access. So for example, if a volunteer logs in, you may want to give them, very limited information, just data entry, and that's it. If a board member logs in, they should have like a high-level view of, what's going on. So it's up to you how you want to customize, the database. So once you log into eTapestry, you're greeted by your dashboard. So your dashboard is an entire snapshot of your database, and each user will have their own dashboard. And so this is, this is a way whereby you can save 30 to 40% time in a day, rather than navigating through the different tabs in this area. You've got all of your, favorite reports, favorite queries, tasks and reminders all lined up in one area. So say, if someone, is attending an important event and, you want them to call all the guest lists, you can just assign them a task, and that will, appear on their dashboard. And when they mark it as complete, you will know that it's done. Things like, campaign performance can be shared on Facebook and Twitter, just to keep people up to date on, how you're performing and, get their support. And ultimately, it's up to you what sort of information you want on your dashboard for, your day-to-day activity. So what I'll do now is I will move from left to right, because this sort of follows a good pattern. We'll look at, all the main features, that many NFPs across the world use, and how, they employ eTapestry, in their day-to-day activity. So let's start with accounts and data entry. There's a couple of ways to find accounts in eTapestry, and an account is any entity. It could be an individual or an organization. You can use a quick find feature, or you could use an advanced find feature, which works just like Google Advanced Find. It helps you search on multiple criteria. I just like to use this top search bar here because it's quick and easy. So say if I'm looking for someone called Donald Cooper, I'll just click on their details, and that will take me to their record. So this is our friend, Mr. Donald Cooper here. So as you can see, I've got a picture of him here. This yellow thing is called a sticky note. So any important bit of information can go up as a sticky note. So, we all know that he likes going to the gym. So, let's keep it back of our mind. So the home page of a constituent record is a summary, his giving summary, a list of all of his interactions with us. We've got his social media links as well, his Twitter account, his Facebook details. So let me walk you through these different tabs here, because this will give you an idea of what sort of information you can capture under a record. Starting with personas. This is the area where you can, capture multiple addresses and all of your salutations. So when you're doing your email or direct mail correspondence, you can use these salutations and, make sure that the name is never ever spelled incorrectly again, costing you 15% in your next gift. The next tab is relationships. So this captures all of Donald's relationships. The system comes with certain relationship types, but you can add extra types on top of that. So looking at this, I know Andrea is Donald's wife, and if I click on this link, it will take me to her details. And I also know that they're part of the same household, as denoted by this little icon here. So I would know that come Christmas time, I only need to send them, one Christmas card as opposed to two. So by having, household relationships, whether it's a couple, or parents, or even an organization, that can really save you a lot of cost in terms of correspondence and incorrect addresses. You can also generate a relationship report to see how Donald is related to other people in the database. And this is really, really important because ultimately, it's all about leveraging contacts and relationships. So you will know who to, contact in which capacity. Very important to track relationships. Moving on to Journal. So Journal is your filing cabinet. Think of it like that. So anytime you have any interaction with Donald, that's recorded under his journal. Every time he attends an event, every time he receives a newsletter from you, if he's a member of or a volunteer, any volunteer activity is recorded here. If he's a member, their membership details, expiry date, that's all tracked under the journal. And of course, if they've donated, all of the donation details go under the journal as well. You've got two options. You've got three options of entering data into journal. You can either import it from an Excel spreadsheet, which is more of a manual thing, not highly recommended, but if that's the case, you can always do that. You can enter details manually, make a note, add recurring gifts, calendar items, send an invitation. Or the most important one, if you're collecting this data online, all of this is automatically fed into eTapestry. I'll quickly show you this other screen here. So in eTapestry, you can actually set up DIY forms. So as the name implies, these forms are really easy to set up. You can do it yourself. You can set up a variety of forms, whether it's an online donation page, event registration, membership sign-up page, contact page, or a volunteer sign-up page. And all of these pages will have a unique URL, which you can either share on Facebook or Twitter for like a direct engagement, or you can put that on your website. And once people fill that out, all of that data is automatically recorded in eTapestry. Let me show you a couple of examples. So this is Young Life Australia. Really good charity, based across several states. And I'm on their homepage. If I click on the donate button here, this is actually an eTapestry page, but we've branded it exactly like they wanted us to. And then once they fill this out and click the donate button, all of their data is automatically get fed into the eTap database. Similarly, for GI Cancer Institute, they're doing some amazing work in the GI space based in Sydney. If I go on their website and click on the newsletter sign-up page, this bit here is powered by eTapestry. So people can sign up, share their details, express what sort of area they're interested in, and then all of that data is then fed in the back end, and then they can generate this report or a query to see how many people are interested in gallbladder cancer, and they're a patient themselves, and then they can target their correspondence accordingly. And the system is smart. Once someone fills the form out, they will get an automatic acknowledgement, like a thank you email. And your organization will also get an automatic email that notifying you that someone's such and signed up. If they already exist in the database, only their journal will be updated, But if they don't exist in the database, a new record will be created under their name. So eTapestry will account for duplicate checks and automatic recall. Very quickly, I want to show you the gift screen in the system because it is a very important feature. You can track different types of gifts, whether it's you're getting checks or membership dues or any other types of payments, insurance. And the system is also PCI compliant. So in English, that basically means eTapestry is extremely secure for credit card payment processing. So it can actually act like an FPOS machine as well. So if someone rings you up and they want to make a payment for their membership dues or their event, you can actually plug the credit card details directly in the system. And once you hit process transaction, it will automatically deduct the card and deposit that money into your bank account. And the credit card numbers are tokenized and they're not stored in the database for security reasons, so no one can hack it. They're actually stored in a secure vault held by Blackboard, and that just ensures it's extremely safe and secure, and you can continue with collecting payments, whether it's one-off payments or recurring gifts. Similarly, if someone signs up as a regular donor or like an automatic membership renewal, you can just you don't have to do anything. The system will manage it automatically in the back end and give you like a nice summary of what's happened. Similarly, you can track things like pledge, when the next payment is due, what the balance is. You can also create receipts from the system. So if I click on Save and Create Document, that will actually create a receipt, which you can either email it to Donald or send via post. But under the communication section, I'll actually show you how you can do bulk receipts. Fund, campaign, and approach are compulsory fields as far as all payments go in eTapestry. The fund is the actual bank account where the money is going. You could have multiple funds. Campaign is the goal for raising money. Why exactly are you raising this money? It could be for an event, it could be a membership fee, it could be your annual donation campaign. You can denote what exactly is this campaign. And approach is the medium that was used to raise the money, like what prompted this gift, whether it was a result of an event, word of mouth, a telephone, newsletter, so you can really track how it came about. And together these things really help you analyze how the money is coming in, how it's being spent, what's working, what's not working, how can we get better. So this is a benefit of a fit-for-purpose CRM because it actually almost forces you to collect all the relevant information on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to think about it. The system will actually prompt you. Like it won't let you save this information unless you fill these, red fields out. So by having that practice in your day-to-day task, ultimately really helps you in the long run. Similarly, you can attach application forms, PDFs under the journal as well. If you're running like a course and if you want to collect expression of interest, all of that information can be tracked under the journal. The last thing I want to cover under journal is the defined field area. Probably one of the most popular features in eTapestry. So whereas journal records all of your interactions, defined field records all of your attributes. Any attributes related to a record. If they're a volunteer, what's their availability, what the skills do they have, what is their mailing preference, how do they want to be contacted by you, what sort of subscriptions they want to receive. So remember when I show you the GI cancer form, this information obviously flows back into their defined field area. And there's no restrictions on how many fields you can create. It's free of cost. You can do it yourself. And you can add things with checkboxes, drop down with different values. You can add date fields and you can even add free text fields. So if you're a membership-based organization, you can track all of the membership types, your expiry date, send them a reminder when the next payment is due. If you're a school or you run an alumni program, you can track information around that. if you're doing, very high major gift stewardship or prospect management, you can also do move management from the system. What's the next step? Where they're at? Who's the solicitor? So in a way, this area pretty much gives you unlimited control over what sort of information you want to capture and report on, because all of these fields can be reported on. So if you want to see, show me all the active volunteers who are available Monday 9 a.m. to noon, the system will give you a list of all the people who've been tagged in these two skills. And the data was, of course, originally recorded using an online sign-up form. Similarly, for events, you can track, event-based information, how many tickets they purchased, what's their status, did they RSVP, so all of that information can be tracked here as well. So that was an intro to accounts and data entry. What sort of information you can capture under an account, what sort of information you can report on. But the key idea is, at any point you should have a 360-degree view of all of your constituents. You should be aware of, how you interacted with them, in what capacity, how, where, and when, because ultimately that will be the difference, between a successful program and not so successful one. So let's have a look at communication. Very important to communicate with all of your stakeholders. So eTapestry has an inbuilt communication tool. What that means is you can actually manage all of your direct mail and email correspondence directly from the system. So if you're like any other eTapestry users, prior to eTapestry, you're using things like, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Outlook, Gmail, eTapestry actually ends up replacing all of that. And the idea is because all of this data is, managed in one area, it's a lot easier to generate mailing lists and targeted correspondence and report on the analysis all from one console, which consolidates all of your email marketing and direct mail communication. So I'll show you this feature in two parts. At the first step, I'll show you how you can set up a new template. You have different categories, different types of correspondence. So say if you want to create a new newsletter, you just click on new template. And then you follow these 4 steps, and the newsletter is good to go. So let's call it, our super cool annual newsletter. Email options are the same. Advanced mass email options will be really handy for your marketing person or team, depending on what you have. So this feature helps you track whether someone forwards this email to a friend, whether they share it on Facebook and Twitter, whether they look at it as a web page. So you can do all sort of stats and analysis on how you're doing with your email marketing, and then gear your efforts accordingly. Next step is layouts. So there's lots and lots of layouts in eTapestry which you can choose. If you already have like an existing PDF or an existing design, you can import that under the blank template using the HTML code. But if you want to, use one of these options, you can definitely do so. And they can all be customized, very easy to do so. You don't need any technical skills. Actually, that's one thing, I forgot to mention at the start. Because this is designed for, small and growing nonprofits, the assumption is, you don't have an IT team, and, staff members wear multiple hats. So this is designed to be very simple and intuitive to use, just like a website, as opposed to like, an intimidating looking traditional database. So multiple newsletters to choose from. You can choose multiple event templates. And all you really need to do is change your logo and name, and it's good to go. Lots of documents like receipt templates, pledge reminders. And for snail mail, you can actually print envelopes from the system with labels. So that option is also available. So if you want to show you one template, so you know what that looks like. So let's maybe chill out. Let's pick that. That takes me to the 3rd step. And yeah, it's just a matter of clicking and dragging and dropping. So if I click on this part here, I can actually add my own, content. Dear Short Salutation obviously becomes the name person. So if you remember looking at Donald Cooper, he had his different salutations all lined up. So you can actually add as many data merge values as you like, and they will get automatically populated based on the recipient. So all the fields that I've showed you previously, they can be added as a data merge value in your correspondence. So if you're writing to a volunteer, you can tell them, notice that you have the following skills, X, Y, Z, and they'll be happy as well. They'll know that you're familiar with them and you value them as as a supporter, and that goes a long way. I mean, I work in sector, and I'm a regular donor for a couple of charities, and every time I get like a thank you letter, even though I know it was automated, someone just pressed a button, it was probably scheduled like a couple of weeks in advance. Even then, it makes me happy. It's just human nature. It's funny how these things work. If you click on the picture, you can add your own logo, font and styling. So I'm not a designer. I won't even try to design it because it'll look something really atrocious. But I can show you an example of a newsletter I got from MCA the other day. Museum of Contemporary Art. So they're also one of eTapestry's users. So hopefully you can see this. It was sent to my email address. It was just like MCA member news and lots of pretty pictures and, keeping me up to date on what's on, what they're doing, and, options for me to, forward to a friend, and I can see what's delivered by eTapestry. So it's good to see this in action, when you do get it from real users. So once you're happy with this template, so MCA would have designed it, similarly in these 4 steps, and then they would have saved it under communication. And come it's time to send, you've got 2 options. You can either, send a hard copy, or you could send a generic email. So the hard create documents will print all the envelopes, print all the documents. You can take the QR code to the post office, and it's good to go. So if you want to email it instead, you can just click on Max Email. Just like how you followed 4 steps to create a template, you'll follow 4 steps to send it out. And this is my favorite part, You pick what type of email you want to send, whether a generic email or the one with, those reporting steps. And then you just pick your audience. So you can have unlimited categories and queries under each category. So a category could be, donors, and a query could be all donors who gave over $100 last year. A category could be volunteers, and a query would be all volunteers available on a Monday. So the system already comes with certain queries, but if something doesn't exist here, you can add as many as you like yourself. So let's maybe send it to my volunteers, and I actually want to send it to all of my active volunteers. Some housekeeping stuff, we should get the reply emails because eTapestry has an inbuilt email server, so it'll actually send all the emails on your behalf from your email address. So you can, confirm what email address you want to, want the people to see. And you can also add attachments. So if it's an event, you can attach like a map with it. With some tracking options, which will create a journal. It'll be updated that all the active volunteers got this newsletter on the 22nd of October. There might be people there who don't have an email address. So it will prompt you to do all the right things as you go along, Because obviously I can't remember how many volunteers I have, let alone whether they have an email address or not. So by checking this option, we create a separate list of all the active volunteers without an email address and send them, copy instead. And if it's a Friday afternoon and you don't want to send it until Monday morning, you can actually auto-cancel email. Next time, when you're holidaying in Fiji or Bali, you just, auto-schedule all your correspondence, and it will be sent out at a fixed date and time on your behalf. That's it. Last step is a bit of a preview. So I can see I've got about 26 volunteers. A couple of them don't have an email address. I can actually use this report and send them a hard copy. 1 duplicate and 1 opt-out. Their short illustration obviously becomes populated with their name. And all emails sent from eTapestry have an unsubscribe link at the bottom. So if someone unsubscribes, they're automatically automatically unsubscribe from the system, and you can just generate a good report to see who has in fact unsubscribed. So that's all managed automatically. It complies with all the anti-spam laws, so very important that all of your correspondence is along the same line. That's it. I won't hit send, otherwise Sarah will actually get this newsletter. But you follow a very similar process to send out your receipts. You can do all of your receipts, spend 10 minutes in a week and just do it all in one go. Your event invitations, reminders, it can all, of course you can always do one-on-one emails, but wherever possible, if you can save time, why not? Moving on, the second last thing I want to talk about is reports. Everyone's favorite topic, reports. So the team at eTapestry did a bit of research, and they came up with 30 reports which they feel all nonprofits should have access to. So they of course analyze common fundraising trends like your top donor report and whatnot, but it also expands to other areas, credit cards that are after expiry, duplicate reports to keep your data clean, get rid of all those duplicates. Email reports to see how your email correspondence is doing. These executive reports are really good if next time you want to impress, your board and senior management. Well, even your CEO can, now log in and just click on this report. So apparently 100% of the people should have the CEO kind of report, locate all the cool reports. So this is just available, at a click of the stuff of that. All of these reports are quite analytical, linear rates, recency rates, and very easy to generate that. So I'll just show you one example of a report, and I'll actually pick a complex one on purpose, so you know what even a complex report looks like, let alone a simple one. So let's have a look at the giving dynamics report, because that will actually tell me how the giving dynamics across my database has changed over 2 time periods. So let's look at that. So I want to look at my dynamics. So once again, eTapestry loves doing things in steps of 3 and 4. I want to look at my dynamics across all constituents, and I'll just pick 2 time periods. So let's pick, a time period from 2011 to 2012, and the second time period, let's pick it from 2013 to 14. So with the report form, include graph, yeah, everyone loves the graph, so let's keep it in there. The report format, I can either view results on screen, or I can actually generate a report in one of these formats. And you can also auto-schedule reports. If you want a particular report every Monday morning, you can tell eTapestry to deliver it to you and the team every Monday morning. You hit submit, and depending on how much data you have in your system, it will take usually a couple of seconds to generate a nice little report. Look how pretty is that. So you've got different pie charts which you can save and put in your PowerPoint straight away. You've got date rate comparison, got a difference. I can see 5 donors lapsed between these 2 time periods, a couple upgraded, a few were recaptured, and I can actually drill down. So if I click on this, it will actually tell me who these 15 people are. Super easy to do reports, and if any report doesn't exist on the list, you can also always do your custom reports. There's no limit on how many custom reports you can do. That's pretty much it for the demo. Like the last thing I want to cover is help and support. Because it's designed for NFPs, there's an understanding that you may not have a lot of staff to help you train. There's lots of help and training resources. You can do recorded training videos at your own pace. There's a Wikipedia style help section where you can actually type in your questions and get all your answers straight away. I actually quite like this one better than the video. Then we also have a chat option. We also get access to unlimited email and telephone support during 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And of course, all backup, upgrades, maintenance is part of the subscription. And so it's, like complimentary webinars, best practice advice, user groups where you can network with other charities, learn from shared experience. That's all part of, the eTapestry family as well. So that was eTapestry in a nutshell. We've got about 15 minutes to go, and hopefully we have some questions as well. I'll just quickly jump back to my PowerPoint to share just one case study with you, because of course, I could talk about the benefits all day, but it's always helpful to look at some real results. So AMDF, which is the Australian Mitochondrial Disease Foundation, started using eTapestry in conjunction with Everyday Hero about 3 years ago now. So for those of you who don't know, Everyday Hero is an online platform that manages peer-to-peer events, and that's also one of Blackboard's products. So in their first year, before they got eTapestry on board, they were only using Heroic, Everyday Hero, and they did quite decently for like a new charity. So they had about 350 participants, and they raised $95,000 in their first year. Then they ended up investing in eTapestry. With those 350 participants, they got a report from Everyday Hero. They imported that report into eTapestry, started leveraging those 350 participants, added a couple of hundred more over the course of the next couple of months. Did a very good email marketing campaign throughout the year, and the results really, truly were phenomenal in the second year. They increased the participants to 2,300, and they raised nearly 4 times that much, so $480,000 was raised in the second year. So, really incredible result, and the Bloody Long Walk has actually become a really, really popular event, not just at Sydney. It was held across, Brisbane, I believe Adelaide as well as Sydney recently too, and a lot of our team participated in it as well. About 35 kids long, stunning views of the northern beaches. So if you are based in Sydney, I highly recommend it. Go check it out next year. So this, of course, a lot of hard work was involved here. The team worked really, really hard and made sure that it becomes the success that it is today. But ultimately, they do acknowledge that without having the right tools, they would have struggled. Purely from a capacity and effort point of view, there's only so much you can do in a day. They would have struggled if they didn't have the right tools to help them leverage this information. So some great stats, and I'll be happy to share more details around what they did in the follow-up email. All righty, so just coming to the end. Hopefully, you've agreed with a few things today. If you've disagreed with a few things today, I would like to learn more about it. But if you've been nodding this entire time, and if you feel like there's more out there, if you feel like you could improve your fundraising and support your management in your current capacity, we would love to help out. We do have a very thorough scoping process whereby we can discuss your needs and come up with a tailored solution if that is the right solution for you. Of course, if the time is not right now, if you're just starting out and if there's other challenges, hopefully today's session has given you some tips on how best to manage your data, whether you continue to use your existing system. But I just wanted to highlight a special promotion that we rolled out just for Connecting Up members, and it does entail a 50% discount on your first year eTapestry subscription. We're excited to offer it across the line. So if you are a Connecting Up member, and if you're looking at updating your current CRM, we would love the opportunity to chat. And here are contact details. You can either hop onto our website, have a look there, or you could drop me an email, give me a buzz, check me out on LinkedIn, and we can have a chat. Thank you very much. I will jump out of my PowerPoint now. We've got about 5-10 minutes, so I'm open to questions. So Tori, bring them over if there's any.
Yes, we've got a question here from Kylie. She asks, the features that you're demonstrating, are they included in the standard price, or are these features extra? For example, the donation platform for the website and the newsletters.
Sure. So everything I've shown you today is all included in the standard package. For the donations, there is an extra fee for payment processing. Of course, if you're processing credit card transaction to the system, there's a third-party payment processing fee. But all the features that I've shown today, that's all part of standard functionality.
We actually don't have any more questions that have come through, so we'll just give everyone a minute or so just to think if they've got any last questions. Is there any last words from you, Sadia?
I think that's pretty much it. I've done most of the talking today, but like I said, hopefully the session today has, given people some ideas around, what's the best way to manage data, and if there's ways they can improve, find technology that can really go a long way in terms of, helping them with growth.
Awesome. We do have another question from Zoe. We operate purely with volunteers. They do everything from admin to delivery of education programs. Does eTapestry keep track of the events? Sorry, I think he's typing quickly to get the end of the question in. So does eTapestry keep track of events? I think that's the first part of his question.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's a great question. So if you allow me 1 minute, I'll just quickly show you, because I did realize during the demo that I had actually missed that part, but if we have time, I'll come back to it. So yes, eTapestry does manage your events. You can collect online. You can sell tickets online. You can collect RSVPs and other general information. And the event is actually tracked under the journal of a constituent. So I just want to show you a visual because that just makes a lot more sense. So depending on what event you're holding, you can type in the name. And of course, if you're collecting this information online, it's all automatically populated. So under the event, you'll have all this information which you can track, what sort of event it was, in which capacity, this person participated, they accepted, and, they also attended, how many tickets they purchased. So there's quite a few things you can track, and then you can generate a report to see different stats about those events.
Zoe says, I need to keep track in the background who has undertaken training, what they've done in the past and how they've performed. Does eTapestry also track what roles volunteers take on?
Absolutely. So, so this is where the magic of user-defined fields kicks in, because user-defined fields allows you to track any data you want. You can actually, so I've got some sample fields here about, what sort of workshops they've attended, instructors and whatnot. But you can actually create your own fields, and that could be start by a date. So you can see a range that, within this date, such a person undertook this training, they're certified with this sort of, accreditation. So yeah, absolutely. And we've got a lot of customers doing it today.
Awesome. Well, that is all the questions we've got for now. I'm sure if anyone has any last questions, I think Sadia's information is on that last slide there. If there's anything involving the webinars that you want to have a chat to me about, as always, you can email events@connectingup.org. Very few questions means you've pretty much covered everything, I think, Sadia. So thank you very much for presenting today. And thank you everyone else for coming along. We did make it through the whole webinar today, which is great. And as always, keep a lookout for upcoming events on our website, through our newsletters, and on social media. That's it for today. So thank you, Sadia, and have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, guys. Bye.